watching? Were you able to watch WCW when they get first signed to WCW, the Harlem Heat? I mean,
yeah, I did. Absolutely, yeah. Now we had Booker and I had gone to Japan and Korea a couple times together first. So we had a lot more history there before, and they ended up going to WCW. But Stevie didn't go. Stevie was, I don't know, for a reason, it was just Booker booked, and I think Stevie went, but he didn't go the tours that I went.
So when you're watching them make their WCW debut, I'm sure you've at least heard the original creative had them coming out in chains with Colonel Robert Parker, who's dressed like a damn plantation owner.
Yeah.
Obviously, somebody thought better of that, and they cut it. But still, the presentation of them in Harlem Heat, them with Colonel Robert Parker, them with Sherry, it feels like their managers were often, I don't know, kind of out of left field.
So this is a story that's went down in like pro wrestling folklore for many years. Can you believe it that WCW, someone would have the audacity to put together such a racist gimmick, a racist presentation, and may shock some individuals, some maybe not so much, but Harlem Heat, two black dudes coming out in chains, as you heard Conrad talking about, with Colonel Robert Parker, a white dude who talks like foghorn, leghorn, redneck style, looking like a damn plantation owner. This is sick, twisted. How could this be? How could this happen? And I actually remember some time back on this channel, I was doing a video about a story about Jason Whitlock's commentary about something that was ongoing in the news cycle. And within that news story, brought to light an old photo shoot news article for Sports Illustrated that Charles Barkley did wearing chains. It was called like Charles Unchained. It was very, very controversial piece, and this Harlem Heat situation was discussed in that. But I didn't dive deeper into it. There's actually a clip out here that's been online for quite some time with Booker T, brother Stevie Ray, the other half of Harlem Heat, speaking more in depth about all this, about what the real deal is behind this story.
They wanted to call us the Chain Gang. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Was that part of the lawsuit? Because it seems a little racist.
What's racist about it?
I mean, come on, the Chain Gang.
No. I want to know what's racist about it to you. I didn't even give you an outline of it. I gave you a name. All I gave you was a name, and you jumped to conclusions of somebody being racist. So it goes to show you right there.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Now hold on, correct me if I'm wrong, but was there not a point in which Colonel Parker was managing you and Booker T?
No.
Okay. Was there an idea ever that was going to be the case?
Perhaps.
Okay. And so you have a white character that may be a plantation owner, okay? And then you have an African-American tag team that you bring in, you want to call them the Chain Gang.
Yes.
That seems pretty racist.
But wait a minute. You got a slight outline on a couple of things.
Okay.
But you have to realize, me and my brother came up with this.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Me and my brother came up with the Chain Gang. But it wasn't like we are a chain gang. It was like, we have chains on our necks, dog collars, kind of like the junkyard dog. And those chains represent that we were put in jail unjustly.
Okay.
This was the synopsis of the characters. We were going out for our trial match, and the colonel was just gotten through doing something with whoever he was working with. And we get ready to go out, and somebody told the colonel to come out with us. But he wasn't supposed to, because this is a tryout match. First of all, you want to get a look at what someone in their mind has put together on camera in moving real life. Okay? That's really what they're trying to get. Okay? structured way of doing things. Well, back in those days, you kind of like throwing ideas at the wall.
Yeah.
Whichever one sticks, okay, that's what you kind of go with. Okay, we go out, we do the match, and we get all kind of heat from it. We thought we had did very, 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 very well. The match went great. But the Colonel thing steered everybody the wrong way. Who's this guy, white guy with the white suit coming out with these black guys and they got chains on? But that wasn't the deal. I can't remember who it was that told the Colonel to go out with. I remember the Colonel saying, hey, I'm supposed to go out there with him. This is a tryout, man.
Was this like a rib or something?
No.
Well, who
Somebody just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
like, who did you
So what do you think of that, man? Stevie Ray setting the record straight and actually saying in the pro wrestling world, right, where it's all about storylines, creative, throwing ideas at the wall, seeing if they stick, seeing if the storyline works, if it gets over with the fans, how it is in the ring, visually, etc. This was actually an idea that Booker T and Stevie Ray, later to be known as Harlem Heat, came up with themselves to be known as the Chain Gang. Two brothers, like literally brothers, I'm saying, that were unjustly incarcerated and were now free and were being referenced as the Chain Gang. But someone, and you heard a dude doing the podcast with Stevie Ray talking about, was this a rib? Was someone trying to be foul and play a sick, flucked up joke on you guys? Did you have heat with someone and someone sent the Colonel out there? He was like, no, they just, I don't know. He came out there and he said he specifically remembers Colonel Robert Parker saying, what are you talking about? I'm not going out there. I'm not supposed to be with Harlem Heat, but he was. And this is where things went left. According to Stevie Ray, you know, that the original imagery of the chains was actually Booker T and Stevie Ray's idea, but Colonel Robert Parker being added to the mix gave off this image that was not originally intended and once again was Harlem Heat's own idea. Ain't that crazy? And it's so wild, this clip, I think it's been online for damn near 10 years or maybe longer. I'm not exactly sure. I forget the date on it, but still this story lives on and has even been spoke about in a lot of pro wrestling pieces about Harlem Heat and about what's been dubbed, quote unquote, a slavery gimmick. Stevie Ray's like, nah, man, that's not what it is. The Colonel came out, he wasn't supposed to, and it fucked it all up. And actually, he stated that they got major heat within the company where they got called into the office and got chewed out about it. Like, they caught heat personally. Like, what are you guys doing? You got us looking crazy. I never knew that. You know what I mean? And I'm a person that taps into pro wrestling content. I actually have a pro wrestling channel that I'm trying to build up and cultivate and all that. We had a previous one that we were like halfway to the monetization level, but shit got twisted and I'm locked out of it. So we're trying to build up a new one. So anyone who hears this who is indeed a pro wrestling fan, let me know if you want the link to that. I'll hit you up with it. And you can go tap into that. Please subscribe, support. We do the same thing over there as over here. Talk about news stories or just different talking topics. But it's just wild that, like I said, this clip is out there of Stevie Ray speaking about this in depth, a creation that was originally him and Booker T's. And still this other side gets put onto it that WCW was the mastermind behind this. And, you know, he's saying that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? But something that's kind of wild about all this, as you heard originally in the clip, that was JBL and Conrad. Anyone who watches pro wrestling content, I'm 100% sure you know who Conrad is. He's done a lot with pro wrestling and the content game, as well as meet and greets and just all kinds of different events. He has many podcasts, him and JBL. Layfield talking about this. They were saying that the management period was like a bad idea, that Booker T and Stevie Ray didn't need managers. Obviously, we know Booker T went on to do amazing things as a singles wrestler, but tag team wise, like Harlem Heat was the truth, the greatest tag team in WCW history. Some may say just period. Everyone comment what you feel about as far as tag teams and all that. But yeah, he was saying them having a manager held them back because they were good on the mic. But Sherry, I thought was good with Harlem Heat personally. The Colonel actually ended up, as crazy as it sounds for Stevie Ray to say he was never supposed to come out with us. Later on, during the wrestling boom, when Monday Nitro was doing big business, there was a period in time he ended up as like co-manager with Sherry with Harlem Heat, which is kind of crazy with all that happening in the beginning and that mix-up of him going out there when he wasn't supposed to and totally spoiling the gimmick that Booker T and Stevie Ray came up with. It's wild that he ends up actually being a part of the management team later on. That's kind of bugged out, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I just was sitting here scrolling through the blogosphere, listening to some podcasts and whatnot, and came across this and was like, man, let me dive a little deeper on this story and get to the bottom of it all. Like I said, it's something that came up discussion-wise in a previous video. So there you have it, man. Stevie Ray setting the record straight about what exactly went down with this racist pro wrestling gimmick involving Harlem Heat. Comment your thoughts if you had already heard this, what Stevie Ray had to say, or just what you think about it all in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Once again, this is Jay Coffee, where we talk about sports, music, pro wrestling, a bit of everything. And again, any pro wrestling fans, if you want to go tap in to that wrestling channel, let me know. I'll link you up. Thanks for watching. Look forward to hearing from you in the comments. I'm out of here, guys. Peace.